Our next speaker is Dr. LeAnne Salazar Montoya, and her topic is grief.
Sharing with you L3 story, living, loving, and losing. Thinking about where to begin, there's nothing to describe the flood of emotion that comes with loving someone so deeply that they are lost. And you're losing them in the loss of their life, and will shake and rock your world. Growing up as a young child, I grew up with my father. It wasn't always easy. It was a time that my fathers didn't raise daughters. As I grew older and I became a young mother myself, if it wasn't for my father raising my son, who has been a very difficult task for me, I grew to depend on my father. And the day his life was lost, a part of me also went with him. My life has never been and will never be the same after losing my father. He was a central part of who I am, giving me building blocks and foundation to be an honest person, work hard, and to treat others the way you wanted to be treated. Losing my father came with lots of loss. The grief of my father was a very difficult time of life. It was something that no one can ever prepare me for. I think grief is a journey, and that it's a difficult journey for everyone. You must learn to experience things you've never prepared yourself for. You need to handle living a life without a loved one that comes with change. Change is difficult. No matter whether it's grief, loss, trauma, or a significant event in your life. For me, the grief that followed me was a loss of my father. It was something to put me in a new realm of life. Well, I had strong support system. My immediate family at home, my 3 children, my husband, knowing that I would never ask for advice again, cry on his shoulder, or give him a call, let's go for a ride, was emotion I wasn't prepared for. Having lost my father came with a lot of other experiences I wasn't prepared for. Days after burying my father, my house structure started on fire. Thanks to a loving, kind neighbor and quick response, there was little loss and compared to what had been. So at this point, I lost the most important person in my life, nearly lost my home. And what followed was the icing on the cake. While I was on sick leave during the grieving period of my death of my father, I received a letter notifying me I was being dismissed from my job. There was no words that I could prepare myself and explain how I was feeling. Having lost my father, nearly losing my house, now losing my job, was a time and a place in my life I will never forget. I believe that everything in life happens for a reason. There were people I never expected to serve as support systems for me, but through and through, they checked on me. I spent the next 4 months of my life gaining weight, sulking, not leaving my home, paranoid about what would happen, might not happen, dreaming about what I thought should happen. For months, letting myself process my own grief in my own way. Something eventually needed a wake-up call, that I needed to wake up and get myself together. Grieving in my own way is important. There's nothing wrong with it, and you need to embrace life as it goes beyond the grave. The love I had for my father was so deep. I loved that I depended upon. His illness took him so quickly. It was almost unbelievable. In the course of 5 months, my father went from mildly ill, an underlying disease, placed him in hospice, and he was taken from this earth, leaving me behind to tell his story, to honor the character traits that he instilled in me, to do my best, to put my little feet in his big shoes. No one can ever explain to you what grief will be like. Grief is different for everyone. Every time I'm sad, the blues from the heavens, there is a blue little bird. The blue little bird assures that there is heaven, and my father continues to look over me, And when I can't make it another day, I know there's hope. I have to remain faithful. I have to believe that there is a higher power, and those heavenly skies my Father continues to look over me to leave me feeling protected, secure, and that maybe someday, not here on earth, He is still an angel looking over me and my children and my family. Grief changes you. Grief reminds you of the life that your loved ones lived. Grace that comes after the loss reminds you of the love that was shared, the memories that will never be erased, the life that you must learn. Our loved ones will always hold a special place in our hearts, in our minds, and continue to learn from every day. It is love, support of others who have experienced grief, share similarities of this journey, that assure me that we will take the legacy of our loved ones, learn from their legacy, carry on their traditions, and the things we admire the most. For me, seeing bluebirds remind me of the day my father left the earthly world, made his way to the heavens, and seeing the bluebirds remind me that he sends special reminders of his love, his care, his attention. Grief is an emotion and has changed me forever. Thank you.
Thank you to these companies and organizations that make the Before I Die New Mexico Festival possible. A good goodbye. Gail Rubin puts the fun in funeral planning. Compassion and choices, improving care, expanding options, and empowering everyone to chart their end-of-life journey. Daniel's Family Funerals and Cremations, Fairview Memorial Park, Gabaldon Mortuary, Sandia Memory Gardens, and Vista Verde Memorial Park, all in the Albuquerque area. Estate Pros, offering professional dispersal of personal possessions due to a move, illness, or death. The Final Exit Network, educating about and defending the right to choose at end of life. French Funerals and Cremations and Sunset Memorial Park in Albuquerque. Gathering Us, providing in-person and virtual memorial services and online memorial pages. Keeper, providing hybrid and virtual memorial services and keeping memories alive with online tributes to preserve, celebrate, and share life legacies. Morris Hall, estate planning attorneys in New Mexico and Arizona. Remembering a Life, your guide to honoring a life well lived, from planning a tribute to mourning a loved one. And Retirement Extender, investment management services with a personalized strategy recommendation based on your needs and objectives.